So imagine this. A lightning-fast strike force, right? Smashing into just this relentless wall of decay.
Yeah, real clash of styles there.
Exactly. And that's the scene from the battle report you shared, this brutal fight between the Aeldari and the Death Guard. Today, we're really diving deep into the play-by-play.
Looking at those tactics, the decisions.
Yeah, the decisions and, well, the outcomes between these two iconic Warhammer 40K factions.
Two very different forces, aren't they? You've got the Aeldari, super fast, elegant, trying desperately to protect this vital Webway Gate.
Crucial for them.
Absolutely. Their survival can hinge on places like that. And then the Death Guard, Nurgle's guys. Slow, yeah, but just terrifyingly tough, spreading corruption everywhere.
Right. And what makes this deep dive cool is we have this detailed turn-by-turn account. It's like we're right there on the battlefield.
Almost like being an observer, watching those key moments unfold.
So our mission really is to unpack how this specific fight went down, pinpoint the critical factors behind the result, and get a real feel for the strengths and weaknesses shown here.
Okay, let's jump into turn one then. Straight away, the Death Guard, they make their presence known. Big time.
Mortarians there.
Oh yeah, Mortarians right there. They grab objectives, leave their Nurgle mark on them. It's interesting, they're slow, but they immediately contest the board.
That rhino pushing right into the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Drops those Plague Marines onto the main objective. That's a huge early statement, anchors them right in the thick of it.
And they weren't just sitting there, were they? The report says their opening shots took out a unit of Aeldari Windriders.
First blood. Right there shows they can hit hard even at range with that plague weaponry.
And on the left flank?
A bloat drone just ripped through a unit of Shroud Runners. Shows they can threaten those flanks pretty effectively.
That blight launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you'd think the Aeldari could just dance around them and pick them off.
That's the usual thinking, Ray. Facing a slower army. And the Aeldari Rangers did try to smite those Plague Marines in the center.
What?
Backfired. Spectacularly. The Plague Marines Overwatch.
Ah, Overwatch. Lethal.
Uh-huh. With the Plague Belchers and Spewers.
Yeah.
It just unleashed this devastating wave of fire. Pin the Rangers. Stop them even getting their shot off. Really shows, don't underestimate the Death Guard's defensive fire.
So that threat was neutralized before it even acted.
Pretty much. Just shut down.
Still, the Aeldari hit back a bit. Windriders and a Farseer.
They did. Poured shuriken fire into that central Plague Marine unit. Took down 5 of them.
5? That's decent firepower.
It is. Shows what the Aeldari can do. Yeah. And this is the big thing, those Plague Marines. They just soaked it up.
That resilience.
Legendary for a reason. Lost half the unit, still held the ground. That toughness, it just shrugs off wounds that would cripple anyone else. It's Death Guard 101.
So that damage output the Aeldari rely on gets blunted straight away.
Instantly. They can dish it out, but the Death Guard can take it.
Then there was that pretty gutsy move with the Viper.
Ah, yeah. The fast attack vehicle. Took a shot at Mortarion himself.
Did it work?
It clipped him. Did a bit of damage. Knocked off a couple of his, 14 wounds.
Okay.
But Mortarion wasn't exactly thrilled. Responded with Rot Wind and Pulf. Viper gone.
Ouch. Okay. So directly engaging Mortarion, risky.
Huge risk. Especially early on if you can't guarantee the kill. The Aeldari paid the price there.
Maybe should have focused fire elsewhere.
It's always that question of target priority, isn't it?
Yeah.
A fragile Viper versus, Mortarion. Maybe hitting less tough targets first might have been smarter.
And the report really stresses how critical that initial Death Guard push was.
Yeah.
Getting into the center, messing up the Aeldari's movement.
Disrupting their whole game plan.
So turn 1, definitely a strong start for the Death Guard. Let's move into turn 2. Things heat up here with a deep strike.
Oh, yes. Enter the Death Shroud Terminators and a Lord of Contagion, pocking up right behind a ruin.
Close to the Aeldari.
Very. Crucially, within 6 inches of the Shining Spears. That's an immediate, serious, close combat threat they have to deal with.
That 6-inch charge is key for those guys.
Absolutely. Lets them get stuck in almost right away.
And meanwhile, the pressure didn't let up from the others.
Not at all. Those remaining Plague Marines kept chipping away at the bikes. So did the Demon Prince. Even Mortarion grabbed another one. It's just constant attrition. The report breaks it down. Plague Marines got 3 more Shroud Runners. Demon Prince took 2 Windriders. Mortarion another Windrider. It just grinds them down.
That's the Death Guard style, isn't it? Not always one big hit, but just wearing you down.
Precisely. And on that left flank, the bloat drones were still at it. Killed 5 more Windriders.
Leaving the Farseer Skyrunner exposed.
Dangerously exposed.
Yeah.
Shows you can't let those seemingly lesser units just wander around.
And then the turning point, according to the report.
The charges. A series of successful charges. The Death Shroud, Mortarion, the Demon Prince, all slamming into the Shining Spears.
Those are the Aeldari's key melee units, right?
Exactly. They're specialists. And the report emphasizes this. All those charges succeeded.
All of them. Wow.
For a slower army like Death Guard to pull off multiple successful charges against fast Aeldari units in one turn, that's a massive momentum shift.
Yeah.
Forces the Aeldari into a fight they probably didn't want.
Right. If you catch the fast, fragile guys,
they can get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aeldari rely on dictating the fight with speed. Take that away, and it gets tough against tanky melee units.
And while all that was happening, even the Poxwalkers got in on the action.
They did. Swarm, the lone Farseer Skyrunner, took him out.
The character assassination by Poxwalkers.
Yep. Losing a Farseer that early, that really hurts the Aeldari's psychic game and their ability to adapt, use stratagems effectively. Big blow.
A huge loss for their overall plan.
Definitely limits their options going forward.
And the actual combats with the Shining Spears, how did they go?
Grim. The report calls it one-sided. The spears just got crushed before they could do much back.
Really?
Yeah. The Demon Prince killed 2, left only the Exarch leader alive. The Terminators and the Lord of Contagion wiped out the other unit completely.
Just shows the power of those Death Guard elites, I guess. The Death Shroud.
They're built for that job. Tough, hit hard, often strike first. Devastating against something like Shining Spears in a prolonged fight.
It's that specialization, isn't it? Spears are great on the charge, but stuck in. Different story.
Exactly. And incredibly, even after all that, those Central Plague Marines, still there.
Still holding the objective.
Yeah. And they managed to shoot down more Windriders.
The Aeldari did manage one clever play, right? The reserves.
They did. Windriders came in from reserves, zipped behind the lines, and took out the Tallyman.
Disrupting their command points. Smart.
Very smart. Pinpoint strike on a key support character? Messing with the Death Guard CP engine can definitely slow down their stratagem use.
And those Windriders didn't stop there.
Nope. Use that move, shoot, move ability.
Battle focus.
Right. Moved, grabbed the Death Guard home objective, then moved again. Shows that even beaten up, that Aeldari's speed can still create problems, steal objectives.
That flexibility is key.
It really is. Still leveraging that speed, even when things look bad, forces the Death Guard to react.
Meanwhile, other Aeldari were trying to focus down the Demon Prince. Star Lances, Bright Lances.
Yeah, they landed hits, but just couldn't wound it.
Seriously. Even their big guns weren't getting through.
Nope. Underscores how tough even the non-Primarch threats are. That mix of power and durability. You need serious anti-tank to reliably take them down.
And the Wraith Guard had to go at a bloat drone.
Yeah, tough guys themselves landed 6 wounds, but still didn't kill it.
Man, that just hammers home the durability point again and again. Must be frustrating.
Extremely. You're forced to pour so much firepower into taking down even, seemingly medium threats.
It's like the Aeldaris are in a damage race they just can't win.
Seems that way in this battle. They inflict wounds, but not fast enough to stop the threats before they get overwhelmed.
The Windriders did get one more Plague Marine, but still couldn't shift them off that center objective.
Fiddle win for him.
And another unit harassed the backfield, put some wounds on a Blight Hauler.
6 wounds, yeah. So like you said earlier, pinprick damage. Some successes, but the main Death Guard force. Still solid, still controlling key areas.
Okay. Turn 2 sounds like where it really swung hard for the Death Guard. Let's brace for turn 3 in the end. Things look pretty bleak for the Aeldari.
Exceptionally bleak, yeah. They did manage a few more wounds on Mortarion with Overwatch if he turned around to deal with some Windriders behind him.
A final sting.
A small one. Because then Mortarion just erased them.
The whole unit. 6 Windriders.
Wiped out. Single-handedly. In one round of combat. Just gone.
That's Primarch power right there.
A terrifying demonstration, yeah. Shows why he's such a feared character.
And the cleanup continued elsewhere.
Oh, yeah. The Blightlord Terminators and the Blight Hauler mopped up the last Aeldari bikes in the Death Guard deployment zone. Even the Rhino.
The transport Rhino.
Yeah, the one that dropped the Plague Marines turn 1. It joined in with the bloat drones to finish off the last Vipers. Just a total sweep.
Methodical. Relentless. Just clearing the board.
Exactly. Systematically removing every threat, leaving the Aeldari nowhere left to run.
And the Death Shroud finished the last Vipers in melee.
Yep. One Viper did explode on death.
A last bit of spite.
Managed to put a single wound on a Terminator. A very small consolation prize.
Better than nothing, I suppose. But the writing was on the wall.
Oh, long before that. The battle was effectively over.
The Aeldari's very last action was taking out that Rhino, achieving Bring it down.
Yeah, a small tactical victory, grabbing some objective points, and a crushing defeat shows they fought to the end, at least. But as the report says, that was it. Battle ends at the end of turn 3.
So wrapping it up, a clear Death Guard win.
Decisive.
Yeah.
Their toughness, their ability to bog down the faster Aeldari, that surprising lethality. It all just worked. The Aeldari speed and firepower couldn't overcome that resilience and board control.
And the casualties tell that story, don't they? Most Aeldari bikes gone. Death Guard lost the Tallyman, the Rhino, most of the Central Plague Marines, but the core threats still standing.
Mortarion, Demon Prince, Terminators, Bloat Drones, all still very much operational. That early push into the center really paid off for them.
So looking ahead, this is bad news for the Aeldari defending that Webway Gate, right?
Yeah.
Especially against Nurgle forces.
It poses a huge challenge. They'll definitely need to rethink how they approach this kind of matchup, maybe different units, different strategies to counter that overwhelming attrition.
This battle really did showcase that stark contrast in styles. Speed versus resilience.
And in this case, resilience and board control won out. It shows that sometimes just being able to take a punch and keep marching forward is more effective than being fast and hitting hard.
So the big takeaway for you listening, what does this tell us about maneuver armies facing attrition forces? How could the Aeldari adapt? Maybe different unit choices? Different tactics?
It's a really interesting strategic puzzle, isn't it?
It is, and this deep dive, just looking at one battle, gives you a real glimpse into the depth of tabletop wargaming.
Absolutely.